Situation Report, July 1943, Indian Theater, 8th Army, General Fuchs. Gebirgsjäger Special Forces have overrun trapped Indian Army at the Chinese border, handed large number of prisoners over to the Burmese. Assam-Manipur ranges are secure, rear lines are clear for general offensive. 3rd Army, General Model. Marines have begun preparations for crossing the river delta and marshland east of Calcutta. Schwimmpanzer will lead the charge across to establish a bridgehead on the west bank. Once the crossings are secured, heavy infantry will join in support from the north for the assault on the city. From there, the path is open through the lowlands towards the enemy capital at Delhi. 15th Army, General Guderian. Redeployment to staging grounds in Ceylon in process, awaiting arrival of marine divisions to create a beachhead at Madras. Once tanks have transferred to the mainland, we will take over and push north towards Hyderabad. 10th Army, General von Mackensen. Troops deployed to Balochistan dismayed to find that construction of supply base is behind schedule. Earliest estimate for first shipments to arrive is in a week. Local commanders suggesting to push ahead and take Karachi despite dire food and ammo situation. With resistance on the rise across the occupied territories, it is probably a good idea to start sooner rather than later, taking the political decisions of what to do next. So let's see what we have here. We have Central Asia. So we are now controlling, it's probably this region here. And the big question is, what are we going to do with this? It is not particularly conductive to give this to the Ottoman Empire, I think, because the Ottomans are already relatively influential in the region, but at the same time it's probably culturally relatively close. So let's see what kind of options we're going to get. And following our campaign in the steppes of Central Asia, we now control several territories of the former states of that region. Local leaders and our own politicians are petitioning for autonomy for these regions. Sounds good to me. Several solutions have been proposed, ranging from the complete partition up to 4 states, up to amalgamation into a single Central Asian federation. So we could get the Turkestan Republic, or we could break up the territory. So let's take a little bit of a closer look and see if there's anybody from our neighboring countries who has any kind of claims here. But I don't think so. It's mostly really smaller groups. I think a Central Asian Federation is a better choice here because of the tribalism and otherwise potential for local uprisings that would then draw the German Empire in again. So I think the Central Asian Federation is a good choice here. So let's do that. And there we go. We've got the Central Asian Federation, which is now part of the Reichspakt and nominally independent, but of course very much under German control when it comes to foreign policy decisions and similar things. So that alleviates the problem here. Let's see what we can do. We've got Åland under our control. That actually should be going to Sweden, in my opinion. But obviously Finland and Sweden hotly contesting that. Given that Sweden has been loyal and Finland has not been, we shall see what kind of options we're going to get. All right. Yes, we can very much give that to Sweden. Yes, Sweden will take control over Åland, and with that over the entrance to the bay near Helsinki, and keep Finland, which has been first betraying us and then fighting on the side of the enemy, much more under wraps by the Swedes. So definitely Sweden for that one. That probably needs to go to the United Baltic Duchy. I think that's there are some foreign claims here from Latvia, and I think as such, United Baltic Duchy sounds like the right people to go. Let's have a look what that is going to be. Yes, definitely to the Baltics. So the Baltic Duchy shall take control of that region. Karelia would be up in the north, and again I am I'm sort of tempted to let Sweden take control of the eastern parts as well, despite the fact that obviously it's more Russian territory, but the Swedes are reliable in terms of maintaining occupation. They've already maintained Norwegian occupation, and that would give them a wedge between Finland and Russia politically. So let's see what kind of options we have here for Karelia. Actually, no, we can only give it to Finland or to Russia. We're definitely not returning it to Russia. We're going to expand the Kingdom of Finland, and we hope that our political sway over them is going to hold. So that is going to become Finnish territory, and Russia needs to be kept small. We have Eastern Belarus, which can go to the Belarusian People's Republic. Relatively clear cut, I think, that particular decision. Eastern Belarus, it's Belarusian People's Republic. Yes, we are not giving that back to Russia, simply because we want to prevent any kind of re-emergence of Russia. So Belarusian People's Republic is going to take care of that. Then we have the North Caucasus, which in my opinion probably should go to Azerbaijan or Georgia, but preferably Azerbaijan. Let's see if anyone has claims on this. Not really. Not really any kind of legitimized claims. So North Caucasus, let's see what we can get. We can liberate them or return it to the Russians. Well, in that case, we liberate them and create the Mountain Republic. So there we go. Mountain Republic of North Caucasus. And we've got the Russian Far East. Now, the Trans-Amur Republic, we've always been a little bit hesitant about these folks, but they are obviously not in any faction and they are not politically aligned with us. However, given that they have already had this under occupation for quite a while, if the option presents itself, alternatively we can expand our holding of Siberia, which is part of the Reichspakt, and we'll see what options what options the diplomats are going to give us. We can just give it to Siberia, so in that case that's what we shall do. And with that, I think our occupation problems are significantly reduced. Yes, we do have still occupation in the Philippines, obviously, and I can send some of the agents who had been sent abroad to root out resistance. I can send them back to deal with these areas, and we can get back to the fighting on the ground. And that is going to be mostly. How is the situation looking here? Okay, we should be. How far away are we from the justification? Okay, we're still 50 days away, so more than 2 months before we can join here and crush Somalia finally, given that Ethiopia has shown itself to be completely incapable of doing so. So that will be the last action of these troops. And we may start soon demobilizing some troops. The first action probably we're going to be taking is going to be economic. So the war economy can return down to partial mobilization, which is going to increase the amount of political sway we are going to get in Germany, hopefully, and free us up for a few more actions, like reducing conscription at some point, because we have a large amount of potentially available manpower that can be trained into units. These people are not necessarily actively in the army; they're just available as part of the conscription laws. And also, the population isn't necessarily going to rebel in any way or see it as a massive benefit, other than a political boon, but without any real impact. So we still have the Spanish decision eventually to make, and we'll see what we do about that. The French are beginning the deportation of syndicalists to Tunis, which is occupied into, well, let's call them ideological camps for now. But let's get back to the fighting after I'm sorting through all the... Oh, no, we have actually National Focus available. Let's see what's available here. The Pax Germanica is not yet available, obviously. So in that regard, we can begin improving the Mitteleuropa scenario, because now that we are effectively, as the Reichspakt, in control over, well, effectively Europe, Africa, and most of Asia, that means we will need a tighter economic integration to have all these new countries that have joined our alliance integrated in a way that makes it much harder for them to eventually become problematic again. So instead of, so we're going to go with leading the flock, and that will strengthen German control over Mitteleuropa. Obviously, they are not all part of the Mitteleuropa system, but still it is a relatively far-reaching system, which even includes states like Greater Austria and Belarusian Republic and similar. And maybe we can at some point get more countries involved if we are showing that this economic bloc is viable. Anyway, leading the flock. So this will improve our hold over that. We've completed the decryption of the Japanese cipher, and I think we'll need to know a bit what's going on in the Socialist Union. The Americans have been pushed back on quite a few fronts by the Canadian offensive, but I think there was a naval invasion running somewhere. So we will see how this all ends up working out. We might need some more insights into what's going on the American continent, but for now, the American continent is very much its own problem. There is a fair amount of Third International in Central America, and other than that, it is widely distributed. Anyway, let's get back to the Indian front, where von Mackensen's commanders on the ground have suggested, despite the fact that we are very low on supplies, that we, instead of waiting for the construction of the local supply hub, we're going to send a party forward and try to take the port of Karachi instead. So I think that is not a terrible idea. So let's get that underway, and we will send a second expedition north, and we will see how that should work out, despite the fact that these troops are significantly undersupplied. We should be able to potentially break Karachi, and if we get them pushed out in the north and then get more troops to join, that would work out as well. And I am going to, do I have an airport in the area? Yes, we do. So I can send some aircraft over as well. Also, we have at this point given up hope that we will ever find out where the French government in underground has hidden Simone Leboeuf. We have combed the African continent, but Africa is vast. So at this point, we'll probably give it up on her. I can't dismiss her simply because she's not there, but in 30 days, I think she will be officially declared killed in action, and somebody else will be recruited. All right, we've got the Marines ready for the assault. And I think this is the better spot here. So we'll have the Marines ready for the assault across the river line here, and towards Calcutta. Their planning is still in its infancy, so we probably want to wait until they are completely planned out. And maybe actually having a division further north is not a terrible idea. Okay, let's get the Marines. Let's get 2 Marine divisions up north to also assist with holding these positions there. We are getting additional infantry troops there, and preparing for the next attack. Meanwhile, in Europe, A formal request from the Belarusian People's Republic. With the peace settled and our European hegemony more secured than ever, our local loyal ally on what was once the eastern frontier of Middle Europa, we usually called White Ruthenia, has made a formal request through their embassy in Berlin. For most of the interwar period, the Belarusians have been dependent on our protection and economic power to rise itself from backwater to a nation, as they claim, equal to the rest of Europe. With the eastern claims secured and Russian threat all but destroyed, the Belarusian ambassador believes that a new relationship between our nations should be considered. So now they're getting ambitious, yeah? Specifically, one between two free nations rather than protector and vassal. In short, the Belarusian government is hoping to attain full independence within the Reichspakt and Middle Europa, ending their unofficial status as a puppet state of the German Empire, as a reward for loyalty throughout this bloody conflict. As there is no reason for the Belarusian People's Republic to break away from the Reichspakt, with their loyalty thoroughly proven, there really is no reason for us to maintain a leash on them, and it would make them even more grateful for our role in their liberation. On the other hand, hardliners that have the Kaiser's ear are livid that they have the gall to make such a proposition in the first place, as their very existence is due to German goodwill. That is an interesting question. So this would probably be a signal to the other Eastern European states for more independence. Now, currently we're holding a very large amount of sway over Belarus, which means they can't declare wars on their own. We could trade with them or license their equipment or build on their territory. That said, their social democrat leadership looks very, very firm, and despite the fact that it is a bit ambitious, I think in the long run we will have to stop having tight centralized control over the world, because this will lead to high inefficiencies. Now, on the downside of this, as we've seen in the past with German East Asia, which is, I believe, also still is it considered it's a colonial government of Germany. Even with strong central controls from Berlin, things that are too far away simply just run out of control. So should we start breaking up the tight hold that we have and start having more independent countries that are part of an alliance rather than everything under central German control? Now, von Schleicher's goal always have been to secure the empire in Germany, not the empire and its colonial holdings. So maybe the age of the colonies is over, and maybe the Black Monday has shown that the sort of colonial holds over far-flung territories, and maybe even closer territories, is simply not viable as a future strategy. And instead, we need to move into more more of a system of trade relations with other countries rather than direct colonial control. So maybe the Belarusian People's Republic can be a trial for this kind of thing. Given that they are relatively close, and if things go sideways, we can relatively quickly intervene. So I think we will give them the independence, and we will see how they hold themselves, and if they are willing to become a productive member rather than suddenly start more trouble in the area. And with that, I believe our capacity of maximum supported divisions actually gets reduced. So, interestingly enough, I'm not sure if that's related to the Belarusian independence, but this goes with something that I had in mind in the first place, because we have, I think, some troops in the European theater that probably can be demobilized, and specifically Haas's 11th Army, which is stationed in northern France at this point, probably is no longer needed. These troops, most of these troops are relatively fresh and have not seen an awful lot of combat. So these, I think, we can disband this army and start the slow process of demobilization, especially of the vast number of infantry divisions that we are holding everywhere, and that should get us below the. Why is it not? Okay, that's obscure, because I should now have fewer divisions. Okay, I am not sure what's going on. Maybe this takes a while to take over, but it does claim that we are supporting more divisions than that we have more divisions than we can support. But even if I remove divisions, this number doesn't go down. So I've tried this, and it definitely goes down in the division count, but it does not go down here. Also, 227 does not match up with the actual number of divisions we've got under control, which is significantly higher than that. So I'm not sure if this is a bug or if I just don't understand the mechanic. For now, the impact is relatively minor, but this is definitely something that needs to be dealt with. So I'm going to have to look into that a bit more. If that doesn't go down by itself, it might be something that I have to fix via console if possible. But for now, we will continue the operations on the ground and actually get back to the things that we were doing. Right. So the 923rd and 95th and 915th are already moving north of Karachi, and everybody stops sending equipment because we no longer have to maintain a massive garrison. Then from there they can support the Bayerische Panzergrenadier-Division and the 1st and 2nd in actually taking Karachi once these divisions have arrived. But we should have some air support soon, and we should have some bombing runs coming in once aircraft arrive in the theater. Unfortunately, the Indians have reinforced in the north. And it looks like von Mackensen's mechanized divisions in the south are not going to be breaking through. There are some significantly powerful divisions in the area here. Like one of them has been just driven out. So the hope is still around the infantry divisions in the north in breaking through. Now the Air Force has arrived. So with Luftwaffe starting bombing runs, we should be able to make our way through, and it looks like the fortunes are turning. The 95th is the first in the breach, has immediately getting counterattacked by an exhausted Indian division east of the river, but with the others coming in soon after, this should not be a huge issue. All right, we've got advanced fire control systems completed. We still have some economic things we could do, but I think instead we'll rather complete the artillery upgrades here. So let's get that done. And when more and more divisions coming in now, joining the assault on Karachi from the north. And with that, I think Karachi is about to fall once these divisions are joining the fight here. The 1st Panzer Grenadiers have been exhausted, but so are the Indians, and I think Karachi is falling, and that means we'll leave a division behind. And we actually now need to get a front line here, so let's get that to happen very quickly. Okay, von Mackensen's troops have taken Karachi. With that, we actually have supply coming out of Karachi, and once the troops are deployed and recovered, then we can start launching the next offensive operations all the way towards the major city Ahmedabad. In the east, we have the Marine Sturmpanzer divisions there. The planning is complete, so we can launch the assault on the river crossing positions. Massive Indian defensive troops. So we will see how well this is going to work. But Marines, we should still be, we're still within the Bengali air zone where we should have significant air support. So Marines against massive opposition are beginning to assault and ford the river, and we will be we'll be having gunfire support from all the heavy infantry stationed on the other side. But the Marines are taking point, and the river crossing is causing some trouble, but in general the troops are much more qualified in doing that than everyone else. Into the jungle on the other side, it's going to be hard fighting against Swaminathan's experienced defenders, but I think we will be able to break through. Trans-Amur Republic wants to send volunteers. That is not necessary anymore. And okay, the division count has gone down, so this was just a sort of delayed action kind of problem. So just something to get used to. Have we gotten the Marines in place yet for the naval invasion? I believe we do. Oh, the Marines are here, yes. So it's just a question of still 2 more days to plan that. But I think the invasion of Japan is at this point probably ready. So let's see if we can launch. For that, we're going to need naval invasion support, and I think both Schlachtgeschwader actually are repairing. So we're going to let them finish repairing before we launch the invasion of the Japanese home islands, and we are going to show up with massive fire support. And in 2 days, Guderian can finally get his tanks of Ceylon and into southern India as well, and from there make significant inroads. We do have still Paulus's troops to push up, but we don't have enough supply in the area to really make a difference there. Supply is just simply overloaded. We do have Fuchs's mountaineers, so these I think we can. Let's see, none of this is particularly mountainous terrain in the area, so we'll see where we can deploy them next. If we're going through most of the lowlands is not we're not really going to necessarily need the mountaineers, so I might actually pull them back a little bit towards the Rangoon area and not take up local supply, and that means Paulus's troops can start moving, and we got a couple more coming in. Paulus's troops can start moving into the breach. We have the Second Army, which is no longer under Admiral von Kluge, General von Kluge, obviously, because he's become a field marshal. I am waiting for a sufficient amount of command power that we can promote one of the commanders on the ground. So what's the Japanese opposition looking like? I see why China isn't getting anywhere here. They have a fair amount of infantry and actually a few tank divisions on the ground, but the Japanese have a relatively decent number of defenders positioned here. So I think the breakthrough probably in the southern area is going to be where we want to go. So we'll concentrate forces. Oh no, that's a river crossing. Yeah, we'll concentrate forces south of Seoul, and then we will try to push through the Japanese infantry, cut off the undersupplied northern force there, take the airport, and break the Japanese in this area. And then we are going to commence the Joseon offensive operation there. All right, so that's still planning, and we now have we now have von Mackensen's troops moving into position. but standing again at a river line, and the troops need to resupply and recover here. So how is the supply situation? Port in Karachi is actually, both ports are now constructed but are overloaded from the simply from the sheer amount of troops in the area. So we are going to let them recover and then try to force a breach, probably southwards. Let's see, is there another supply port? There is another supply hub. So we might actually launch an assault to not give the Indians more time to dig in here. Let's see if we can already launch an assault and see if we can take that supply position. Yes, I think we can force the bridges here and make our way across, take the supply, and then leave a division behind and see if we can cut off the Indian troops on the south bank. When then we can move on towards the operational goal here, and just sever the supply lines in the north. So von Mackensen is making inroads. We had a naval battle. We have there's still a few cruisers and destroyers operating off the coast of Japan, but nothing major. Our submarines are running free in the area pretty much, and we are just waiting for the battle groups. How much repairs there's still to be done? It's just the Elsass that needs some superficial repairs. And here, okay, so it's probably going to be the first, which is once Elsass is repaired, which is going to launch the assault. And we have the invasion. The Marines ready. The Marine Sturmdivision are ready to launch the assault on Madras, by the looks of it. So let's get that underway then. We should have we've got complete naval superiority from the Kreuzergeschwader that are operating in the area since the beginning of the war. These raiders that are sinking any kind of Indian shipping that makes its way out. So let's begin the invasion of Madras. And then once the beachhead is secured, then Guderian's tanks can flow in afterwards. So troops are on the way. No need for any kind of explicit naval support because they are the oceans have been secured over the past years of conflict. Free civilian factories, that's fine. We will be lowering out of war economy soon. So let's see what the Marines are getting themselves up to here. Once they make their landing, how's the river crossing going here? We are Marines are fighting, are still fighting. Actually some of the divisions have been pushed back by the Indian defenders, but we've now got two heavy infantry divisions leading the charge here, while the Marines are recovering. But once they are back in fighting shape, then and have regained some of their organization, then we can have them rejoin the fight here. So let's send them back in. Second attempt to cross the river against massive Indian forces in the jungles on the other side, dug in there. But with air support, that should not be a huge problem. I do have to change the equipment, obviously, and get the production back on track. And I think we can. Yeah, we're just upgrading artillery at this point, so we can start converting. We're still somewhat short on rifles, but everything else is in good shape. All right, crossing. Battle of Madras has begun. Only a single Indian division, the Red Lions Air Corps. So they are trying to send reinforcements from Pondicherry, but we are now holding Madras. Despite the fact that the Marines are obviously encircled there, we are once the counterattack has been defeated, we are going to widen the beachhead. And then we are going to start shipping the tanks in and overrolling India in the south. We have encircled Indian troops. Here. So let's begin eradicating eradicating the remaining divisions here, while everybody else is just holding the lines. I do need one division in the north to make sure that we're not getting cut off here. So please do ensure that. And yeah, we have some more divisions coming in from all sides to assist. And we had the completion of the experimental rockets, which means we could now build ground-based rocket launchers, but I think this was just more of a scientific breakthrough. But instead, we're going to go for the Vergeltungswaffe research, so the first cruise missiles coming in, and potentially from there some interesting aviation upgrades for the future. Plus we have Focke-Wulf. I think there's not much left here. Fuel injection engines, not going to bother. We'll upgrade that later on when we get to it. And here we can assist with pushing the Indian troops back. Leading a flock is complete. So now we have additional influence in Mitteleuropa. And I think strengthening Mitteleuropa also will help the overall cohesion. We could get the Directorate of Enlargement, and that means we can start inviting other countries to Mitteleuropa. Yes. That was the plan, but maybe we start with the European Cohesion Funds or Mitteleuropäischer Kohäsionsfonds, and just ensure that everybody works well together before we start enlarging. Preemptive enlargement is generally not a good idea. Let's get some more troops engaged here and see if we can manage to squash the remaining Indian defenders. 4 Indian divisions encircled here. Madras has been taken, so we will expand the Marines will expand the front lines, and then once that is secured, then we will bring the tanks in, and I think at that point just overrun them. Have we managed to force the river crossing? We haven't. So we'll send the Marines in again on a second attempt with reinforcements from the rear in a second attempt to try and get across the river. And I think we have enough experience for a general land doctrine. Alternatively, we could improve the Marines further with naval experience. That's also a good idea. So that would be 15% breakthrough. Yes, absolutely. So we get that. And for the land doctrine, we are going down to infiltration assault, which is just giving us 5% soft attack in general. So that's good to have. And we do have the justification correct. No, actually, the Trans-Amur Republic is justifying against Siberia. There we go. So Trans-Amur Republic is now about to assault the Reichspakt. I would call that brave, if not mildly suicidal politically. So definitely an ambitious plan that they have there. Okay, Mackensen is clearing out the last remaining Indian positions, and then getting all the troops back on the front line for further expansion. The Madras incursion beachhead is secured, so we can give Guderian's troops a front line in Madras in order to launch the assault going forward. And I think we're just going to make a general offensive line in the north to secure Bombay, Hyderabad, and the whole line in general. So let's get him shipped over. And I think with that, we should actually have the first Schlachtgeschwader is back in action, so they can run naval invasion support They are positioned in Taiwan, so that's correct. Which means we can now begin launching the naval invasion. So invasion of the Japanese homelands underway. We have lost the submarines, so there are still definitely forces engaged, and the first should be coming along, should be setting forth, and we'll get them moving north. Should be setting forth and coming along with the troops on the ground, and that will be the invasion of the Japanese homeland. Meanwhile, we have concentrated the Second Army divisions, and I think we're not going to wait any longer here, but instead we are going to attempt to see if we can break through the Japanese defenses here. Mostly, okay. I do need the 4th Panzer Division to join this. So I have most of the tanks in the north actually. So we might have to send around another one, and the Schützenpanzer to come in as backup. We don't really have the combat width, and I do wish to have that. Yeah, I do want to have the tanks leading this, not the Schützenpanzer. So let's get the tanks in first. 4th Panzer launch, 3rd Panzer join, and Schützenpanzer afterwards. All right. So we've got 2 tank divisions on the assault. And with that, do we have, what's the air situation over Korea? It's actually contested. Let's change that. So we are going to send the Luftwaffe in to assist the tanks on the ground, and that should change things around relatively rapidly. Alternatively, if we can't manage to break the Japanese defenses here, then these 2 panzer divisions should be able to break through. The Japanese are very experienced and very well dug in here, but we will see. We will see if the Luftwaffe can help with that. We have the first naval landings, the Kagoshima naval landing against an extremely well dug in Japanese division here as well. So we will see if these two panzer divisions can land. The Japanese can't penetrate the tanks, so it should be possible. To get on land. And we've got additional forces landing in the north. So the Marines are on their way to taking Kagoshima, which means we can actually now get the. We're just going to hold position. Hold position where we are. Not moving to port, please. Just move to the East China Sea, and we can give the air groups a specific order because we have close air support wings which can now run CAS missions, and we have got fighter wings which can run air superiority missions over the Japanese homelands, which should give us clear air over the area, and which should enable the landings without too much trouble. And once we've taken Kagoshima and Nagasaki, we can then begin the operations of securing these beachheads. How are the Marines doing? Relatively well in the north, and the Marine. Austria no longer sending us rifles. The Marine Sturmpanzer are doing their job as well. So many fronts going on. We have not managed to break. Oh no, we have managed to break the lines here. Very good. So immediate Indian counterattack, and we are going to concentrate the Marines on furthering the assault. But we can now bring actual heavy infantry divisions over. We have Guderian has landed, and I think we can immediately begin Guderian's attacks in order to just literally widen the lines here. First Indian counterattacks are going to be extremely unsuccessful against this amount of firepower. Where's the next supply hub? Bangalore. So that's going to be our next target. So let's get the 7th and the 8th Panzer to move around and secure Bangalore, while the rest of the troops is securing the front lines here. Von Mackensen has managed to defeat the Indian defenders, and that means we can concentrate his troops for the push towards Ahmedabad and move everybody in place there. How far are we with the justification? 25 days away. So naval landing in Japan, in the Japanese homelands, with assault with carrier assault with carrier air cover. We have managed to take Nagasaki and Kagoshima, but obviously we are going to have to, especially in the south, we are going to have to broaden the lines here, because right now these troops are basically encircled. So we do need to make sure. Was that not that is a supply base? Oh, that's just a supply hub. That was not a port. I thought that was a naval base in Kagoshima. So a faulty intelligence here has led to the Sturmpanzer divisions to be out of supply, which means we immediately need to counterattack north and make sure that we are widening the lines here and connecting supply to Nagasaki from where we are currently defeating massive Japanese counterattacks. And we'll try to push the enemy out. No, they are relatively well defended in the hills there. So north it is. Zielgerät 1229 is complete. And that means we can look into just generally improved technology for our infantry. This is all still a little bit ahead of time. But we get the Sonderkraftfahrzeug 256 underway. That is the improved half-track. And we also have another one where I think this is still ahead of time. These are all researched. So we're all good in that regard. Tank research, we can do some tank research. It's not particularly necessary at this point, but we will see that. Okay, we have managed to hold back the assault on Nagasaki. So now we are going to get the first mission in Japan is going to be to connect through Fukuoka to the tanks in Kagoshima. So we do need to see that we can make this we can push the Japanese out, and that we can while holding Nagasaki, and that we can manage to reconnect with our tank divisions here in the south. Do we have an airport? Not yet. So we're currently just using the carrier-based aircraft as support, and trying to make our way out, trying to break out from Kagoshima here. At the same time, we have managed to break through. So cut off the Japanese in the north. And we still don't have enough command power to get a new general going here, but we need to rapidly manage to cut the Japanese off. We'll pin the divisions in the north, and I think the tanks are managing to break through, and then we will have cut off these Japanese divisions. We just need to get the tanks to get there first before the retreating divisions are making their way into the hillside of North Korea. It looks like we may actually have overrun the Japanese in the north. It'll depend if they can make their way back, or if the 3rd and 4th Panzer can get there first. That is the big question at this point. And I think, yes, we have overrun them. They have surrendered, and with that, we have cleared the lines, and we can now concentrate on the railway south of Seoul. We should have an airport here secured now, so we can start bringing the Air Force over. No, this is not yet secured. Okay, so we'll be bringing the Air Force over eventually, but for now we are going to push further south and towards this distracting the enemy. There is a desperate submarine attack from the combined Japanese submarine forces on the battle group, but they've already lost 4 submarines, and without much to show for. And we are now, we are about to reconnect the troops here, and the Qing government and Japan have signed a peace deal. Just as we are about to, that isn't going to help them, but it looks like China has seen that Germany is picking up the slack for them again, and has signed a separate peace deal, which means that the Chinese troops are probably going to leave the front lines, which also means that we are going to have to deal with the Japanese on our own here. Hilarious backstabbing here from the Chinese, but we have bigger problems. We do need to send troops back. Actually, we do need to ensure that we are holding the lines here. And the tanks are breaking out, and I think we are about to reconnect the lines, but we do need to hold, and we are going to need reinforcements on the Japanese mainland. So troops are in need. Anyway, the Treaty of Shenyang looks like the Fengtian government has been defeated after the Chinese peace with Japan. So we'll see what comes out of that. Okay, the German Empire obviously has had some progress here, but the Qing government has done the heavy lifting. So there's not really anything we can do with the amount of war score that we have. So we are just going to pass. And it looks like the Fengtian government is going to be taken over, as it should have been, by the Qing government. Still doesn't... Germany is just in here for observation status. Still, maybe that was the intent. That was the intent of China all along, to get a formal peace deal with Japan in order to assimilate Fengtian before a larger peace conference. All right, we are still trying to connect the lines here with the various marine divisions against Japanese counterattacks, but we now have some Schutztruppen from German East Asia in the area as well. Okay, and it looks like now we are starting to see a solid line. So let's fix the front lines here and get a solid front line. Get a solid front line going. Once we have everything secured, then we just need to resecure the. We need to retake Fukuoka out of Nagasaki. But once we have the front lines completely secured, I think Kagoshima still needs to be defended. Then we can bring in. The Japanese are throwing the last of their ships at us. A couple of heavy cruisers are launching yet another desperate operation of interrupting German landing forces. But the Mogami has already been sunk, together with 3 light cruisers, 4 submarines, and it looks like the rest of them is going. The submarines are going to probably get away, but the rest of them is going to go down. And we can now start sending the mountain divisions that are currently stationed in Burma. So General Fuchs's 8th Army can make their way to Japan and assist with the push towards Tokyo, given that Japan is mostly a mountainous terrain. We are going to get 16 mountain divisions of the 8th Army with the goal to push all the way to Tokyo. And we just need to get the Marines to reconnect the lines here, and to ensure that we're obviously not getting supply now because Nagasaki is cut off. So we are going to have to push back against the assault here and push out of Nagasaki. to secure Fukuoka and the southern line. Marines are stretched a little thin, but I think they can pull this off. Without too much trouble. Obviously, Japanese counterattacks happening, unfortunately, and the Germans. Okay, that is less than good. Japanese counterattacks having further pushed back the troops in Nagasaki and cut them off. But once their defense is completed, they will immediately counterattack north and retake Fukuoka. And we have another Marine division already in the east, so this should not be a huge problem. They just need to hold back. I think we're one division short. Yeah, we might give up on Kagoshima. Honestly, we might give up on Kagoshima and move the troops north in order to support the lines here. We do need to hold Fukuoka, and the Marines are moving out of Nagasaki in order to ensure that that's happening. So we're getting tank divisions moving in, and I think we now have one division everywhere. Yeah, we just need to get Fukuoka to hold against the rapid Japanese counterattacks. And the Mitteleuropäischer Kohäsionsfonds is complete, which means that, okay, before we go any further, let's have a quick look. We have sunk, I think, the last desperate remains of the Japanese forces. The Second Army does need to remain in Korea, but given that the Republic of Korea has been liberated by China, we are now no longer able to push any further. So the Korean partition south of Seoul is part of North Korea, and South Korea is still under Japanese occupation. That means we can bring the Second Army to the mainland as well. So let's make that happen. In that case, we will bring additional tank divisions in the follow-up. We are holding Fukuoka now, and I think we are mostly in control of the landing area at this point. Do we have an airport on the ground? I don't think we do, but we still have carrier air support. There's a Court-Off division northwest of Nagasaki. Now it's just a matter of holding the lines here, and we will shorten the front lines. We'll give up on the supply hub here for now. We'll concentrate the troops first until reinforcements have arrived, and I think that has completed. So let's clear out the Nagasaki position, and then return and then ensure that we are holding Fukuoka. That is cleared. Everyone on the front lines are stabilizing now, and I think the Japanese counterattack has failed. Fukuoka and Nagasaki are safe, which means we have the supply lines. We have 2 ports secured. And with that, I think we can even launch further offensive operations. Let's see if the tanks can cut off the southern edge of the island while we are waiting for reinforcements to arrive. But we do have to look at the other theaters as well. How's the Calcutta operation going? We are again short on supply here. But I think we can still support this attack and push the Indians further back while moving against the river line and then getting ready for the next crossing through the delta. We have Guderian's tanks have taken Bangalore, and we do need to consolidate the lines here. I think there's relatively little opposition, but they obviously are getting somewhat overstretched. So cutting off the enemy is going to be the primary objective. Let's secure a line cut through against Indian counterattacks, and then clear the southern areas of operations. to ensure that no further enemy troops remain. And for that, we are going to drive the tank divisions relatively on their own through enemy territory. But I think we have enough. We have enough troops. We have enough troops in the area to stretch the lines respectively. Tanks are driving through the area unopposed or relatively unopposed. Only minor Indian garrison troops at the ports. So once everything is secured, we get the rest of the divisions to follow up, and that should rapidly be the end of the southern Indian front here, and rapid advances from Guderian's tanks. Mackensen is poised for an assault on Ahmedabad, and I think again the mechanized infantry can lead the charge here, while the regular infantry is going to secure the northern part of this operation. And then von Mackensen almost has his operational targets secured. Fighting near Calcutta remains arduous, and especially given the supply situation in the south. So we might have to concentrate on yet another breach further north, because I think the southern front for the Marines is less ideal. So we'll concentrate on a northern breach towards Calcutta. And again, the occupation causes us trouble. The occupation of our syndicalist enemies continues. As it turns out, we underestimated the amount of resources that such a colossal project will require. And again, this erodes our war support and stability further. And again, I still cannot, actually I'm not running a national focus right now, I need to do that. I cannot use the Pax Germanica. If we are looking at the actual ongoing wars right now, it's the, who's still in there? It's the Australasian Confederation that we might have to invade, Canada, the legation cities, but the co-prosperity sphere is about to collapse. So is India, and hopefully once India is the faction leader is down, then hopefully they will give up. I'm not sure about the American states. How are they faring against Canada at the moment? They are, the Canadians are further pushing in towards the American states. So it looks like the Union of Socialist American States, have they managed to land in the north? It doesn't look like. So their naval landings seem to have failed, and the Canadians are pushing back further south. So we will see. We will see if the Americans can turn that around. But for now, they are busy. Japan, after heavy fighting, has secured the front lines, and we've cut off some Japanese divisions in the south. So lines are now secured, and we are waiting for reinforcements to ship in. We are sinking the last remaining, we have sunk the last remaining ships that the Japanese had available. The Korean War is all but over. North Korea, the Republic. Actually, it's the Republic of Korea, not the People's Republic. So the Republic of Korea is actually in possession of Pyongyang at this point. And I am not sure how much more is needed in order to take the Pax Germanica and declare the Second World War over. But for the meantime, we will proceed with the Directorate of Enlargement and get more countries involved in the Mitteleuropa system. The Indian War is going well. The fierce fighting near Calcutta, where the main Indian defenses are positioned, but Guderian's invasion of southern India is pretty much clearing out any kind of remaining resistance here, and then we will push north towards the Bombay-Hyderabad line, while von Mackensen takes Ahmedabad, and then it is open. Delhi will be assaulted either by Paulus's troops from the east or by We can probably position Paulus northeast actually here. We don't have any supply really. Supply is the biggest issue. Once we've secured Calcutta, that might get a little better, but getting Paulus to move through the plains in the north would be good. But for now, the heavy infantry under Model is running the show, despite the difficulties that they have on the continent. Anyway, lots of smaller things to sort out, but I think that's it for today. The Weltkrieg is coming to a close, and as such, there is one decision that I am not entirely certain. Where was it? This one, occasionally I can take this. I'm not sure what this does though. So if anybody has any idea what the end the military occupation does, then is this going to remove the military governments of France and England, or am I going to have to go through the decisions here that are going to decide on the post-war future? I don't know. The decision is extremely unclear. It just said it ends the. It ends. Occasionally, I can take it. It ends the military occupation. I don't know which one. I'm assuming it's this one. But yeah, if you have any information on that, do let me know. And that's it for today. Thanks, everybody. While the Reichspakt is securing a post-Weltkrieg, Second Weltkrieg future.